What do we have?
I'm not sure what happened.
All right. Hey, we are live now, but that's
Oh,
okay.
oh,
Yeah, we're great. Yeah, let's do this. Let's see if we can get enough folks here to get involved and also make sure we uh let them know we want them to comment on the show and ask questions and let's get these
Okay.
on. Okay. But we are on the air right now. We are on live with Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter. All right. Yes. So now that we're on, we're just going to wait a few minutes here and make sure everybody's set. And we're ready to start this podcast of Knowledge is Power podcast live. Hello, my guests. I got my co host, LaDonna Sherwood and Francis Larkins. Oh, we're Larkins now. Okay.
that is correct. That
Right,
is
great.
Tony, you
correct.
so
Tonight we got an
messy.
exciting show tonight, and we've got a real exciting show and an exciting special guest tonight, and it's going to be Tamica Clark, and this is November Diabetes Awareness Month. So we're going to talk about how to live with diabetes. What can we do to give you an advice on how to deal with diabetes and prevent from having going into a deep dive in diabetes, right, girls? Ladies,
Correct.
Right.
all right, okay, great. So we used to start our show with an intro, and I just thought I'll just do it this way this morning. So, with Donna, would you like to introduce
Sure, of
introduce the
course.
Power Knowledge of Power podcast to the viewers and what we're here to do?
We are here tonight because Knowledge is Power Podcast Live is a platform to share important information by educating Southeast Texas African American communities with valuable information on health, education, finances, politics, and business. We make it our business to keep our pulse on the community and what is happening in your city and surrounding areas. We try to bring a little spin to it, a little class, a little pizzazz, and a little excitement to get the people involved and make sure that they know what is going on. We are super excited about our guests, and we are super excited because diabetes awareness is huge in the African American community, and everybody knows somebody with the sugar, like they say.
Yeah, they do say that sugar, but yeah, I
I
could,
knew growing up.
yeah, growing up, and as a young man, I used to hear the word that my family talk. Well, he got sugar. And I never knew what sugar was all about. I
Mm-mm.
just,
Right.
I just made sure I had a little sugar
Well, I just thought if you
in
didn't
my
eat too much
coffee.
sugar, if you didn't eat too much sugar,
I
you
know.
wouldn't get the sugar.
Yeah,
So
yes,
that was
yes,
how I grew up.
yes. That's how we did too. So
Yeah.
we want you to make your comments if you're watching and share our podcast with your friends, neighbors, and loved ones. And we're talking about diabetes. This is not November. Is not diabetes Awareness Month, and we have Tamica Clark as our special guest. We're going to be visiting with her, and we're going to be talking about diabetes. And thank you, Terry Roy. That you're right. Diabetes is a great topic of discussion to have. And on Tuesday, myself and my guest co-host Francis Larkin will be talking about uh, the process of buying a home, a 101, with a couple of buyers and a couple of mortgage buyers and realtors that can kind of help you in the process, steps of process of buying a home.
And don't
Um,
leave out the insurance agents because you want
No.
to insure your major investment.
yes, yes,
There's
and
no point in buying a home if it's
uh,
not properly insured.
that's right. And next Sunday, I will have a credit expert here to help those who's looking to purchase cars, homes, or whatever, and needing credit, how to build your credit, how to repair your credit, move your score up 100 points. So
Oh wow.
that'll be a good
Ooh,
show also on next Sunday at 7. And also we have a great show coming on the third Sunday of December. We're going to have the pioneers of the Golden Triangle pioneers of the civil rights
Oh wow.
activists that's still living. That we're going to bring on, and we're going to give them their prop because they did a lot back in the day before we was even walking, and to help us to where we are today here in the Golden Triangle. They fought for a lot of us. So we're going to have those on the third Sunday of December. So we're filling the month out for the month of December. We're going to go back to our 2 nights a week shows. And we want you to drop a comment. If you hear something interested in our show, drop us a comment. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss it. Please, let's do that. So with that said, let's bring on Francis, introduce our guest to the audience.
Well, we have Miss Tamica Clark here. She is an advocate in our community for diabetes and the awareness. She's very passionate about the cause, and because number one, it touches close to home and just in the African American community alone. So she is our advocate tonight for diabetes, and I couldn't be more thrilled and more proud to have her on as a guest and also a friend. So Tamica, you can start wherever you want to begin. I would love to hear more about that great event that you had about 2 weekends ago out there at Rogers Park. I think that's a great segue to lead us in to open the floor for questions.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the platform. Like Francis said, diabetes is very, very important to me, as not only just me, but a lot of people in the African American community has a loved one that may be suffering with diabetes or maybe have passed away due to diabetes. So it's very important to know, excuse me, it's very important to know the symptoms of diabetes, because with us, my husband, he has type 2 diabetes. We didn't know the symptoms. We heard of it, like we said earlier, growing up, people saying, you got the sugar diabetes. And, we talked about it, and we seen family members, battle, and family members, pass away from it, but really know the importance of it. And not just with adults, but with kids as well. So 2 weeks ago, me, my husband, and some friends of ours, we host our second annual diabetes awareness walk. And it's a community walk that we put on. We started last year in the support of my husband, who is battling type 2 diabetes. He has been battling diabetes since, I think, 2008. And with diabetes, a lot of people say, oh, you get it from being obese or not eating right and eating a whole bunch of sugar. It's so much more information than that. And I think a lot of people need to be educated on it. So that's why I wanted to put more awareness out in the community about diabetes, about type 1 and type 2. So we did that. It was a really good event. This year we focused on, like I say, children who battle type 1 diabetes and the importance of it, to know the symptoms of it, know the signs of it. So as they grow up to be adults, they know how to handle it. They know what to eat and what not to eat. They know how to, the importance of it, they know how to check themselves for it if they have it. My husband's go ahead.
I was going to say, can you give us some examples of things to look out for in both, young people or elderly people? Like, what should we be looking out for?
Good. So type 1 is, back then they used to call it juvenile diabetes because you see it more so in children. With type 1, it's a chronic condition. It's when your pancreas produces little or not much insulin, so you need the insulin intake. Also with type 1, people with type 1, they can either be borderline diabetic. So with the borderline diabetic, they right on the edge, they right on the beginning point of it. So they have to start eating right, taking care of themselves, watching out for the symptoms and the signs of it. With type 2, your pancreas doesn't produce any insulin. So you need the insulin. It's like we all have insulin in our body, but it's not producing it. And with my husband, he's type 2, so he needs the insulin. And some of the signs of it is frequent urinating, always dehydrated, sweating, dry throat or dry skin, dizziness, always sleeping. So when we found out that he had type 2 and we looked back, we did see the signs, but we didn't know what it was.
So
Yeah.
how many? Tell me this because I'm a little new to this, and I mean, okay, of course, we've been talking about sugar. Well, my family got sugar. We got sugar. It's just diabetes. But tell me, and I had a guest on maybe several months back, and we talked about diabetes. So I'm going to ask you, what is the minimum exercise we can do to prevent the push of diabetes?
Well, I'm not a health expert, but just knowing from experience, doctors always tell diabetics that try to walk. Long as you keep moving, do as much as you can, as you can. Exercise and play a major role in treating diabetes. Healthy eating. A lot of doctors put their patient on an 1,800 calorie diet intake, so they eat little to not much um, calories, so they can burn it off at the same time. So long as you keep moving, long as you walk, long as you're doing some type of exercising, it helps with the 800 calorie diet.
Now, folks who's watching the show tonight, if you'd like to comment, ask questions, drop us a comment, please, because we like to know, we like to discuss it with you and give you knowledge about diabetes. And then one of my hosts like to add into that.
Yes, I would like to say that I have several family members that are addressing diabetes. And what I noticed is even over the Thanksgiving holiday, we all kind of are aware of the ones of us in the family that have diabetes. And I know that sometimes we call ourselves watching out for that person, or, trying to monitor their sweets or try to help them to convince them not to overdo it and things of that nature. But sometimes we can be found getting on people's nerves. What would you recommend, like, for family members that's trying to help out but don't want to be annoying? We're just concerned.
I would say just be supportive. I mean, around the holidays, it is hard for a diabetic to not indulge in sweets. I know for my husband, he's on a strict diet. So around the holiday, I try to, not pull back from it. I let him, have sweets, maybe sweet potato pie or something like that. I don't bake, so I don't have sweets in the house. So if he do have something, we pick up something, we have something here, I'll let him do it, but it's all about portion control.
Mhm.
Right. I think that you're right. Or even people like myself that kind of do bake, and I find myself cooking. Oftentimes I will alter the sugar in the pie or the cake or whatever it may be. And then look, my family members are like, oh no, don't have sugar mine. Don't have sugar mine. I'm like, yes, I'm putting less sugar in. I'm trying to save your life. I'm trying
Yeah.
to save your life, honey, and help you to live. I'm trying to help you to make it. And they talking about don't cut the sugar out. Don't,
They
you
want
can
that
change.
sugar.
They
Yes. And
they
let me
want
tell you,
it's
girl,
hard.
you try to put applesauce or like different things to kind of change the recipe. They be the
Mhm.
main ones that notice the damn change. You better not
They
change that
did.
recipe.
Well, I've
Yeah.
got
You try to alter them.
Mel sent a text, and he's saying in the chat, in a private chat, in a family chat, family can make sugar-free desserts and foods prepared on a diabetic diet.
Yes. They sure. There's a lot of information on the internet. There's diabetic cookbooks. I have several that I use every now and then, but like she said that it's hard. They know the ingredients. They know what's inside of it. I had a family member say, "Oh, I'm gonna eat all this sugar for the holiday, and I'll just put more insulin on it."
Oh,
I'm
uh-oh.
No,
telling you,
yeah,
I'm telling you, girl, I am a witness. These people will really, they don't want you. That's what I say. I was just
no,
wondering if y'all had, because baby, in my family, they know, and they be watching too. Seem like they always in the kitchen when you're making a cake or a pie. They all in the middle of it.
That
yeah,
is That is too interesting. So, Tamika, tell me,
Mhm.
I heard you mention that your husband has diabetes and he was diagnosed in 2008. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. As a spouse, what is that like? Can you enlighten us a little bit as a spouse? How do you give support? Because I could see that being a bit of a challenge, especially a change. You guys seem to be younger individuals. So tell us how we could, once a loved one is diagnosed, like how can we manage that? Like if that's our spouse, or how would that affect things? Is there any moral support out there? Or are there any support groups? Are there any resources that we can access once someone has been diagnosed with the disease?
I can say it is tough. It's tough it's different seeing a family member like an aunt or a parent, battle diabetes versus seeing your spouse. Because you're living with them. You're seeing, their ups and downs of diabetes. With my husband, like I said, he's been battling it since 2008. And at the
Mhm.
same time, we're raising a son. My son is 15 years old now, but it's tough. It's tough to see he have his days like I remember one time his sugar got up to 500.
Oh.
He has no
So
symptoms of it.
what are the normal levels? I know you're not a healthcare professional, but you have a lot of experience. So what are
Um,
the
It all depends on the person's first. It all depends on if they're type 1 or type 2. It all
mhm,
depends on the person's body. Like my husband, since he's type 2, if his sugar gets up like maybe in the 200 in the past, if it get up to 500, he'll
mhm.
sweat in certain parts of his body, and that's how I can tell. Some
Okay.
people, and then there are times that if it get up high, that it's like he's impotent. He has no feeling. He can be
Okay.
walking around with his sugar high and he can't tell.
Oh, wow.
It's good to frequent check your sugar.
Okay.
To always check, always monitor it. But going back to what you were saying, it's good to have the support. It's good to have the support of friends and family members. There are
Mhm.
other resources out there, but the time when we were battling it at the beginning, we didn't know.
Right.
We didn't know. We had to put our heads together. When he was having surgery, he had bone infections, maybe
Mhm.
5 or 6 of them. He had staph infections. He had blood infusions and all kinds of stuff. He had amputations. He just had a major amputation last year. He had a below the knee amputation. So just dealing with all that and seeing the changes of your spouse is tough. I mean, but that's what you have a good support system for.
Okay.
Now,
Wow.
those amputations, if I may ask, that's due to the sugar, though? Was that related to something related to the sugar? Or that was just not, that was due to the diabetes, or no?
It was due to diabetes, because the thing with diabetes not only it's not just dealing with insulin. It affects your eyes. It affects your feet. He started off with getting amputation of all his toes, and then he got bone infection. It affects so much. It affects your skin. He had neuropathy. Like, it's so much that goes on in it versus just sugar diabetes.
Mm.
Right, right. Okay, that's what I was wondering. That's like a major change to a bunch of stuff all at the same time that is interrelated to if you're not working out or eating right or monitoring your insulin levels, like you said. I mean, like, that's huge. That's
Yeah,
really
and
huge.
some people who get diabetes, they get it either from being overweight or hereditary. His
Mhm.
was hereditary, so it's in his genes.
Mhm.
Wow. I didn't. I knew it can affect you. I didn't know it had that much of an effect.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I assume, again, I know you're not a professional in, as far as it goes in medical world, but for African Americans, I know that that is one of the most deadliest, or excuse me for saying deadliest, but one of the most serious diseases in for African Americans. So. Is
Yeah.
that's just, you know, wow. I'm kind of blown away by this.
I
So
mean,
on a lighter note, I don't really know of a lot of support groups here in the area and a lot of push groups, if you will, that kind of support diabetes. I know annually most of our churches get together and they do health fairs, and due to COVID and everything, that's kind of slowing some of that down, take a loved one to the doctor and everything. But I think what you were doing, the organization that you have started, I think it's amazing. I'm an advocate for community and, just tying things together and bringing awareness. What are your goals for your organization? It's a newly birthed organization and it's thriving. I attended the first year and also the second, and I appreciate the opportunity. But what are your goals for that and your vision moving forward for that organization? And what can it do for our community and in our local areas?
so my ultimate vision for what I've done for the last 2 years is not only bring more awareness to the community, but bring more support for families. I can relate on so many levels because even though I might have my family, my friends to support, there's other families out there that might not have the support. So the ultimate goal for the community walk is not only to bring awareness, but to help maybe a family that's disadvantaged that might not have the funds to maybe buy needles or buy just supplies or any medical needs. We was fortunate, we were good. We had family, but at the same time, I mean, it's so much. I mean,
Right.
it's expensive. It's so much. So my ultimate goal is to start an organization to bring more awareness to the community about diabetes, especially in the African American community. And then not only that, to bring more support, so you can have more support groups. I mean, there are support groups out there, but you only hear about a little of them if you're in the hospital. I
Right,
just want
right.
to be out in the community more.
Okay.
Well, I think I got Mel here. Let's see if Mel here. Let's see here. Mel, you there? Let's see here.
Yes, I'm here. I'm
Okay,
here.
well, you've got a couple of questions. I mean, well, you got a couple of comments. Our cue. We don't. I can barely see you, but we know you're there.
Well, I can't remember what I commented, but I did want to let everyone know that during meal times or holiday seasons, people don't really have to know that the food is sugar free, because sugar free food really tastes good. Desserts, it really tastes good. Sugar free, you buy the little juice mixes, they're sugar free. They're really, really good.
And honey,
Cutting back on
that
the
rustic
salts
clovers
and
gives me life.
seasonings
Yeah.
in some of the foods for, I mean, you can set certain dishes for diabetics on the table, that doesn't have as much, because a lot of people suffer. And I did want to indicate, I know that we're raising awareness for all people for diabetes. So I did want to indicate that media makes it seem as if African Americans are the top people that are suffering, but they're not. From working in the clinic as in the medical field, it's about 50-50 with Caucasian people. A
Mm.
lot of them suffer with diabetes. So
Has
they
that
kind of push
always
the
been the
issue.
statistic? Has that always been the statistic?
Yeah,
Or okay. Oh wow.
it's a statistic, but it's actually not true. I
Uh-huh.
see actually about half and half of people white with diabetes as well as African Americans with diabetes. But in our community, we do want to kind of raise the awareness for everybody, but especially for us, because sometimes we tend to be the ones that don't walk, that don't
Yeah.
exercise, that don't take care of our bodies, and that don't eat healthy because we think we can just eat any kind of way. But if
Mhm.
we do want to live and not suffer with diabetes, then we should eat healthy, exercise at least 30 minutes a day for those diabetics, and
Mhm.
just monitor yourself. Watch out for those signs. If you know that it's hereditary in your family, you should watch out for those signs.
Mm.
And
And just be
interesting.
cautious.
That's interesting that you mentioned that. I would be really interested to know the actual demographic numbers on that,
Mhm.
because we do put a lot of focus on African Americans.
We do.
And I'd like to weigh in on the Hispanic community, maybe, or Asians, and wonder just
Right.
what are their numbers like as far as type 1 and type 2 diabetes, because we focus on it because we know it as, like I say, the sugar. But
Right.
I wonder, do how other cultures are interacting with diabetes, or differently, or what is it that our diet, and like you say, it's 50-50 with Caucasians as well.
Mhm.
So I guess it's something that we're not, maybe it's the carbs. I don't know. Is it carbs you think we should
It's the
focus more on?
cornbread, girl. It's the cornbread.
I think it's 30%.
The cornbread
I
and the
think it's about
cranberry sauce, huh?
30%. Not really sure on the accurate numbers for Hispanics, but I do know they have a very high rate as well. Not as high, but I know that Hispanics do because of their food as well. They eat a lot of spices. They like hot
Mhm.
stuff, so that all plays a part in diabetes. It's like Miss Tamica said, it's not really all about being overweight. It's the I mean, you can actually be a normal, healthy person, and then your body just stop producing insulin all of a sudden. Or you can
Wow.
be
Yeah.
born like that to where your body does not produce that insulin like it should. That's why we had the young lady that we supported, as Mika said, 2 weeks ago with the
Mhm.
diabetes. She found out she had it at 4, but that wasn't really hereditary. That was just something in her, something that was just causing in her body. We don't know what's going on in our bodies,
Right.
so
Mm.
we just have to, like I said, just be mindful of it and be aware of those signs. And again, if you know that family members suffer with it in your family, that's what I wanted to mention. Be sure, if you're diabetic, even if you're not, go and get those 3-month routine checkups that we're supposed to get. A lot of times we hate going to the doctor. We're scared what they're going to say, but we need to get those routine checkups so that we can know what's going on. Excuse me, so that we can know what's going on with our bodies, because sometimes our bodies talk and we don't listen. But if
Right.
we get those checkups, then we're able to see what's actually going on with our body so that we won't miss what's going on and wait till it's too late.
Right. Mm. Good information.
Very good
Mhm.
information. Very good
Mhm.
information. For people that you're watching, if you're going to be watching this on a replay, in the comment,
Correct.
just type in replay on the comments so we know you're following us and watching us. If you got any comments, please drop us a comment. Drop us a comment. Let us share some more information with you. Answer your questions that you might have questions about diabetes. Please, we want to be a help to you by giving you informative information on diabetes.
Now that we're getting ready to go into the next wave of holiday, I'm definitely going to be interested to, make sure, because there's so many family members, anything that we
Mhm.
can do to help out and alleviate some of that anxiety around overdoing it is going to be great. And I'm also interested to, maybe me and Tony can get together and see if there are any just local support groups
Mhm.
where maybe they post. I'm sure there are on Facebook and different places where you can kind of gather around whatever you need, as far as insulin supplies, or insulin activities, about,
Right.
like, making sure family members, friends, support groups. And I know that some of those products have to be high too. I
Right.
mean, uh the needles and the insulin and the machine and the thing that you have to check it on and all of
Very
that. I'm
Let's
sure
go
there
ahead,
are
Linda. I'm sorry.
I'm sure there are probably places that you can reach out and maybe get, I don't know, people that do couponing and stuff like that. I'm sure they got groups that can help you alleviate some costs associated with that as well.
So actually, the clinic that I work
Yeah.
at, Legacy Community Health, we have programs to help those people who are suffering with diabetes and don't have insurance or don't have the necessary funds to pay for it. We do have programs for those
Mhm.
people that pay for medicines. and give you discounts on those medications as well.
Mm.
Because I was thinking during COVID and everything with people losing their jobs and losing their health care and all of these other different things, you guys start thinking we want people to get tested and know what's going on, but we also got to think might get costly, so we want to,
Mm-hmm.
Legacy, she said, has a program that, and then I don't know, I'm sure there are, like you say, places where you can also go
Mm-hmm.
and get tested and checked regularly or updated
Right.
health information.
Hmm.
Well, I don't have diabetes, but I'm taking a preventive medication from to help me keep it from growing or progressing.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't think of the name of it. That's something I take it every day. Y'all just talk. I'll find it.
Well, and that's another thing that I was thinking about too. On the pioneering front of, innovation as far as diabetes, it's good that they are coming up with drugs to kind of, if you're pre-diabetic, to kind of halt it or
Wow.
curb that actual sentence. I'd like to take some too, many people as I have in my family. So be sure you find it, Tony. Send me a text or something. Send me a
If I
text.
might interject, people who suffer with diabetes, they say that it's not curable, but for people who are on insulin, by eating right, exercising, cutting back on rice, those high carbs, you can come off of insulin.
Oh wow.
You definitely can.
And you can get snatched in the process because Miss Tamika, she is snatched. Okay. And she is helping get me back into shape. She is whipping me, honey. And I'm scared I'll be running from them text messages, honey.
Hey, y'all need to come in and help me.
Snatched.
Y'all need
Snatched.
to get me whipped up. I just need to. If I could
Honey,
just get out
I
and
was
walk
hiding from him at the wall.
3 blocks.
You did.
Girl.
But
Yeah.
I was saying earlier that we had a guest 3 months ago, and she was saying 30 minutes of walking will
Hmm.
help our bodies and also help us with diabetes. And you say you can walk 10 in the morning, 10 at noon, and 10 in the afternoon, later on that evening, and you got your 30 minutes worth of walking. And I
Hmm.
thought, wait a minute, I might can do that. And
Right.
I tried it. I tried it from
Yeah.
my house to the garage to my car, and
Hmm.
I got in it and I had a 260 horsepower, and I went on about my business. But we can do better. We can do better. I can do better. I just need some push me because I'm just
Yes. Just long
Tamika,
as you
get on
keep
her text
moving.
list. She'll call you.
And
She
look, if
will text
you
you.
know me, Tony, I was trying to figure
I'm
out if
put you on the list.
your bedroom activities count as exercise. Do a little bit of
Now,
that.
you know I'm not married. I can't get indulged in that. I
No,
need
I'm
some tips
talking
for
about
everybody.
Tony. I'm talking about Tony in that 10
Oh,
minutes that he can't work in every now and then. Work it in, Tony.
all
does
right
that
now.
count?
All right now. Don't hurt this old man. get get this old man hurt.
Look, when it's real good, I got to get into the camera.
Francis, you funny.
Again, those who are watching and you're going to be watching and you're listening, please drop your comment. We want to know how you think, what you're thinking, and how you're feeling, and what's something we can help you with. And we want you to share if you're not interested, then share our podcast. We're on here every Sundays and Tuesdays at 7 o'clock. And I also I want to, while we have a break here, I want to announce that we also are having a show, and it is going to be titled, When Did We Realize the School System Was Teaching Us Lies?
Whoa.
That's heavy.
Oh, wait a minute. Please tell me more about this. Am I going to get to do some Black history stuff? Because you know how I feel about that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
On
yes.
her black
You
Let
history.
me say
yes,
this. I
yes.
actually got fired from a job one time. The lady said that I was teaching reverse racism, which really floored me. And in my mind, I mean, to tell my kids in my room that their history didn't start with slavery and that they were actually royalty and kings and queens really upset my soul, that I was relieved of that job by other Black people. Actually, they took her word over mine, and I mean, it was NBISD, and I probably should have fought it. But when do we realize we were being taught lies? Too late, too damn late. That's when we realized it.
Well, that's going to be an interesting show because we want the viewers to comment, and we don't want them to get involved in it, and we want to know the answers. We want to know what you know. When are you going to find out? How old were you when you found out? It's never too late to know about your history, our Black
Right.
culture. You have a lot of it, and we're talking about our Black culture and history right now. Even though we're talking about
Exactly.
diabetes, because we carry the most diabetes, even though diabetes is not prejudice. It'll hit anybody, really.
Right.
But
Right.
that medication that I was talking about is metformin. Are you ladies
Mm.
familiar
Okay,
with
yeah.
metformin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
My
And
husband takes metformin.
oh, okay, good. Well, I had a procedure on my neck about a week ago, and they was asking me all those questions. Are you a diabetic? I said no. So why are you taking metformin? I said, well, hey, I don't know. The doctor told me to take it. You know, he wanted to
Right.
help me from having it, but um, it's under control. So, you know, I said, well, we're gonna check it. We're gonna check your blood right now and make sure, you know. So I had a 103 or 105, I can't remember, which
Okay.
was been good. So I guess I'm under control. But that's with a little exercise. Just imagine if I can just get out and just walk and get a little exercise, you know, my
Right.
body. But I move around a lot because I'm that type of business I'm in is moving a lot, moving around.
Right.
And but it is also good to at least do 20, 30 minutes of walk in a day will help
Yes.
our bodies, yes. And so that's a good thing. Terry Raw was on earlier, and he had he was not really a comment, but he also said it was, you know, he has it's an instant fight to keep it under control. He's
Mm-hmm.
saying that
Yeah.
I'm in that number who have it, but have it under control, which is good. I mean, if you got it under
Right.
control, it's wonderful. Um,
Yeah, because it fluctuates. It goes up and down.
yeah,
Hmm.
I think we kind of lost Mel, but that's okay. We still flowing along. We're still flowing along. Um, so, ladies, if any question for Tamica, we can keep on moving.
No, well, right now I'm just again, just elated about what she's doing in the community with the organization. I had not heard of anyone doing anything. Not that I have someone that is super close to me that that struggles with diabetes, but just knowing that that there is support out there. Should I have and knowing the importance of being tested and knowing some of those signs, and I think your organization is kind of doing some of all of that and also pushing out those resources for us, if that were to happen. So I appreciate that, Tamika, so much.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tamika.
Thank
And yes, right. We thank you for coming on board with us, just kind of helping our audience to feel comfortable and knowing that
Yeah.
we're more of an educational a podcast. We're not the jibby jabby. Even though I have these two young beautiful young ladies on as my co-hosts, but we're more educating our community, and
Absolutely.
that's the purpose of this podcast.
you.
We will not change. We're going to stay on this on this platform, and again, we need to know more about our illness, the things that affect our
Mhm.
bodies, and know the system when the symptoms start, and what, so we wouldn't have that problem that you and your husband had trying to figure out what was wrong with him. We
Yeah.
want to be able to pass on information to the community of to be aware of if something happens, what type of symptoms that your body might carry, to know that you are going to diabetics. So
Right.
it is very, very important. I've got a relative that we didn't know what was wrong with him. He just started losing weight, and we kept saying
Mm-hmm.
something wrong with him. So, but he wouldn't talk to us. So how are we going to know what was wrong with him? But when he he fell asleep at the wheel and
Oh.
tore up his car. Then that's when he found out, hey, you're diabetic. All his blood was, it's so. Um,
Yeah.
it's something, and then being a diabetic, you got to eat right too. You got to know
Yeah.
what time to eat, and when is a good time to eat. But again, it's most important. Your diet is important, and I know that part. But I have a bad problem with my diet. I ate 7
And
up cake with coffee this
sometimes,
morning.
sometimes I heard too that your sugar can be low.
Yeah,
You can have low blood
Yeah.
sugar
right,
too.
right.
Sugar,
I,
yeah, it can be. It's when it's low, it's easy to bring it up because a lot of people, they say either drink orange juice or eat a
Mm-hmm.
peppermint, have some type of cake to bring it up. But when it's high, it's hard to bring it down.
Mm.
that's
Unless you
right.
have, you have your insulin. Yeah.
So
Right.
it's just like losing weight and gaining it.
Who gaining weight? You?
What? I'm running from Tamica.
I'll be doggone. I can't
You
believe that.
doing good.
Yes, you're doing good.
Well,
Yeah, you're doing good. So, ladies, I thank you so much for this evening. And Tamika, you've been a very big help to us. And we
Thank
want to
you.
thank you, and we want to bring you back again because we would love to have you and bring us more information on diabetes. I'm sorry, excuse me. So, but with that said, I'm gonna ask for a closing message from each one of you here before we go. But I want to make sure everybody know about the 37th NAACP Freedom Fund and Scholarship Award Banquet, which is going to be on the Friday, December 18th. Anybody aware this is still going on, right?
I'm not aware of the event at
this is
all this year.
definitely still going on.
It's still going on, right? So the
This is
speaker is going to be Joe
definitely
Madison,
still
the
going
Black
on.
Eagle.
And we are
And
still taking ads, I think, until Friday if you want to get a
Okay.
page in the booklet.
okay,
Okay.
great, yeah. The speaker is going to be Joe Madison, the Black Eagle on XM satellite radio, and it's going to be at the Beaumont Civic Center.
All right.
Tickets on sale now at you can call 409-842-0294, or you can email bmtnwcp at hotmail.com.
All
Tables are
right.
$360, that's including the ticket, and tickets are $45 a piece. So that's that. Anything we've missed already? Have we let's see here. What have we got? What have we not missed today?
I
Inform
think
anybody. Yeah, well, that's fine. Okay, well, great. I've got something else I'd like to share is that we've got to be aware and stay aware and be abreast about COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
It is still here and it is surging.
Mm-hmm.
Please stay safe, be safe, wear your mask, keep your distance, and that's going to help you go down the road. I'm serious. I mean, it's a serious matter. We've had a surge right now in our area. There's no more hospital beds available, ICU beds available. So if you get sick with it, you're going to have to be moved to another city, to another hospital, and you're going to be by yourself. It's
Mm.
better to wear a mask than be in a ventilator. So
Right.
that's very important. People stay safe. I'm going to also try to get with the. We're going to try to make sure that I get with the city health department director, see if we can bring her back on and give us an update on what's going on with the COVID-19 and updates on that from the CDC. So, with that said, I'd like everybody to join us again Tuesday with Knowledge is Power podcasts, and we're going to be talking about the buying process 101 of how to buy a house, how to have your paperwork ready, what you need to be prepared to purchase a vehicle. I mean, a car. I'm sorry. No, mortgage, homes, and cars, and automobiles, and all that good stuff. So, and I will have my special host, Frances Larkin. She's in the mortgage business also as well. So that's going to be a great. She's going to bring us a couple of realtors that we can just visit with and talk about preparing our people ready for the buying seasons because we are going to get through this.
Mhm.
this pandemic and all that. It's gonna go bye.
Oh,
We're gonna
yeah.
get through this. God has brought us too
Uh,
far, and He's not going
mhm.
to let us. But we've got. He also gave us enough sense to have common sense.
Yes, he
He
did.
wants us to use our common sense. So stay safe, be safe, and be aware of your surroundings. Francis, you'd like to say anything before we close out?
Absolutely. Tamika, again, thank you so much for being here. I've learned so much. I hear you speak all the time, but every time you open your mouth, I know more. So thank you again for joining us today and being such a gracious participant. And we appreciate you and what you're in your service to the community.
Thank you, Tamika.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I
I,
appreciate it.
I love that Superwoman shirt.
You like it?
Oh
It's a story
yeah.
behind this. I'm about to tell
Oh, I see. Ain't no more
Yeah.
phone booth no more, Miss Clark.
It's every I'm gonna make it real short. Every year, my husband used to go into hospital for surgery, whatever. Me and my son used to wear a Superman shirt. So we named the walk called "Faith and Strength to Endure." So we have the faith, and then the S is the strength.
Oh,
Ah, that's awesome. Thank you. That's awesome. Miss Sherwood, are you still with us?
Backstage
you,
though. So
I'm sorry, I had you
She's
here we
backstage.
go.
Yeah.
My phone sometimes it goes in and out, but I am super excited too about the work that Tamika is doing in the community, and I'm glad about your Superwoman shirt too, because I feel like as African American women, we never fail, honey. We will never let this community down. We got this community's back. We've been having it for a very long time, and like Tony said, we're gonna carry them on into the future. So I'm excited about what you're doing, and I hope to help out in any way that I can. And we do want to be mindful of
Yes.
COVID because with diabetes and things like that, with the pre-existing condition, COVID is all the more real and a problem. So yes, we do want to be sure to wear our mask and stay up until the next show, Tony. Stay up.
All right. See you guys Tuesday. God bless. Love you.
bye.
Love you.